Hi, this is how I see it. Let's take a look at some headlines involving Iran and 9/11, starting in 2004, July. 9/11 Commission finds ties between Al Qaeda and Iran. In the fall of 2004, the Middle East Quarterly says Iran's linked to Al Qaeda, the 9/11 Commission's evidence. The 9/11 Commission. Before we go any further, let's hear what two of the 9/11 commissioners have to say about the commission report.
So there are all kinds of reasons. We thought we were set up to fail. We got started late. We had a very short time frame. Indeed, we had to get it extended. We did not have enough money. They were afraid we were going to hang somebody, that we would point the finger.
Lee and I write in our book that we think the commission in many ways was set up to fail because we had not enough money. We didn't have enough time. We'd been appointed by the most partisan people in Washington.
Okay. Actually, more than just two people from the commission say what these men are saying, that it was set up to fail. The Challenger investigation got $175 million. Columbia got $152 million. When Bill Clinton had sex with Monica Lewinsky in the White House, that got $30 million. 9/11 got only $15 million. The biggest terrorist attack in history got a mere $15 million, and I believe they first got $9 million and then they had to ask for more money. In May 2011, the Daily Beast says the Iran 9/11 connection. The lawsuit may offer the best hope of getting to the truth about whether Iranian government officials had advanced knowledge. We're going to take a look at some advanced knowledge. The leading Israeli newspaper, Haaretz, confirmed today that at least two employees at the Israeli-based telecoms company Otigo knew what was about to happen 2 hours before the Twin Towers of the World Trade Center were attacked on 9/11. Otigo is an Israeli startup company which was purchased 8 months after 9/11 by Converse Technology for $17 million cash. Converse Technology is another Israeli company. How about this for foreknowledge?
To be honest with you, we arrived on late Monday night and went into action on Tuesday morning.
That's right. FEMA was in New York on the 10th of September to prepare for 9/11. Am I saying this man knew that it was going to happen? No, but somebody did. Speaking of foreknowledge, this is Larry Silverstein, the mass murderer. I want you to pay attention to him lying. This is his excuse for why he was not in the building when it went down. When people tell the truth, they do not elaborate like this man is going to do. Now, watch him lie.
Where were you on September 11th? I was home.
Come on, Larry, spit it out.
And
Come on.
the only reason I wasn't where I was
Yes.
every morning,
Yes.
subsequent to the 26th day of July, my mornings were spent usually at a breakfast meeting at Windows, an 8 o'clock breakfast meeting, Windows, the top of it, and then going down to visit with my tenants, my new tenants, at the trade center, getting to know them, understanding their problems and so forth, ascertaining how we could service their needs better.
Do elaborate.
And which is one of the first things you do when you acquire a property. Begin to meet your tenants and start talking with them. And so my mornings were spent at the trade center, and then by noon I was back uptown. And so that particular morning, because I have light-colored hair and fair skin, and I'm an annuity to the dermatologist, my wife, God bless her, had made an appointment for me at the doctor. And I remember dressing to go to the doctor. I'm finally saying to my wife, I said, sweetheart, that I've got so much to do downtown. I got to cancel this. I've got to go downtown. And she said, you're not going to cancel this appointment. You're going to the dermatologist. You know, having been married now to the same woman.
So you get the point. Too much elaboration, too much detail. This man is a liar. He's not telling you the truth. He had foreknowledge, therefore he's responsible in part for the 3,300 deaths on 9/11, or how many you think died on 9/11. May 2012, Iran accused of being behind the 9/11 attacks. So now they're being accused of being behind the 9/11 attacks. Was Iran behind 9/11? This is in September of 2011. In July of 2004, members of the National Commission established a look into the September 11 attacks were facing immense pressure. The target date for submitting the report the whole of America was waiting for had passed, and commission members were given a 60-day extension that was about to expire. However, 8 days before the final submission date, some commission members received word of new information, a real intelligence time bomb. Commission members didn't know what to do. On one hand, a whole new lead emerged. Yet on the other hand, nobody could process this huge amount of information within days. At the end of the day, the commission chose a solution that turned out to be the worst of all. It crammed some of the information into 3 pages, written hectically, ignored most of the information, and in fact left the big question open. U.S. District Court rules Iran behind 9/11 attacks, December 23, 2011. And 2 days ago, U.S. judge orders Iran to pay $10.5 billion to 9/11 victims and insurers. According to Press TV, U.S. becomes laughingstock by blaming Iran for 9/11. I think maybe we should take a look at those Iranian hijackers. Oh, I'm so sorry. 15 of the hijackers were citizens of Saudi Arabia, but the country was dropped as a defendant in the 9/11 lawsuit. That's right, the CIA report says that 15 Saudi Arabians hijacking planes attacking America is no evidence that Saudi Arabia willingly supported Al-Qaeda leading up to 9/11. This is who did 9/11. United States of America, Israel, and Saudi Arabia with their little sword for chopping off heads. I think this is the flag that you see here before you that should be flying on the White House. So, on the afternoon of 9/11, a white van was stopped. The FBI bulletin known as a BOLO, Be on the Lookout, was issued, and police stopped a white van. Inside the white van were the dancing Israelis that you've heard of. The driver, Simon Kurzberg, said to the police, "We are Israeli, we are not your problem. Your problems are our problems. The Palestinians are the problem." Why would he say that if he's being stopped for unknown reasons? These are 3 of the dancing Israelis who were seen filming the towers being struck by planes and jumping up and down and flicking their lighters like they're at a concert.
And at that point, we were taken for another round of questioning, this time related to our allegedly being members of Mossad. The fact of the matter is, we are coming from a country that experiences terror daily. Our purpose was to document the event.
Admitted on Israeli television, those 3 men were there to document the event. 3 Israelis in New York documenting the event that they knew was going to happen. They were part of the Urban Moving Systems, that's the van they were in, owned by Israeli Dominic Suter. The men arrested were Yaron Shmuel, Omer Marmari, Sivan and Paul Kurzberg, and Oded Elner. Those are the names of the 5 dancing Israelis. In the months that followed, they refused lie detector tests and were repeatedly questioned about their involvement. Eventually, less than 10 weeks after they were taken into custody, These Mossad suspects of 9/11 were rescued by fellow agent and dual citizen Israeli Michael Chertoff. Who is Michael Chertoff? This is Michael Chertoff, Secretary of Homeland Security and dual citizenship with America and Israeli. DeMuro was the FBI's main man heading the investigation of the 9/11 attacks. As we now know, DeMuro and the FBI, under the control of an Israeli son of the Mossad, Michael Chertoff, managed what can only be called a criminal cover-up of what really happened on 9/11. DeMuro played the key role as the FBI confiscated crucial evidence and allowed the steel from the World Trade Center to be destroyed. What kind of criminal investigator allows the evidence from the crime scene to be destroyed before it can be properly examined? Tony Snow interviewed Dick Cheney. I can't play the audio because it doesn't want to play for me, but this witty YouTuber synced it to images which she manipulated quite talentedly. Is that a word? Talentedly? It is now. These are the voices of Tony Snow and Dick Cheney.
Clear, because I've heard you say this, and I've heard the president say it, but I want you to say it for my listeners, which is that the White House has never argued that Saddam was directly involved in September 11th, correct?
That's correct. We had one report early on from another intelligence service that suggested that the lead hijacker, Mohammed Atta, had met with Iraqi intelligence officials in Prague, Czechoslovakia. And that reporting waxed and waned with a degree of confidence in it and so forth. Has been pretty well knocked down now at this stage that meeting never took place. But so we've never made the case or argued the case that somehow Osama bin Laden was directly involved in 9/11.
Did you hear that? Straight from the horse shit's mouth. Osama bin Laden not directly involved with 9/11. Iran told to pay $10.5 billion to 9/11 kin and insurers is an evil joke. You should also know that 120 young Israeli citizens posing as art students had repeatedly attempted to penetrate DEA offices and other law enforcement and Defense Department offices across the country. The DEA report stated that the Israelis may have been engaged in organized intelligence gathering activity. One art student was a former Israeli military intelligence officer, Hanan Serfati, who rented 2 Hollywood apartments close to Mohammed Atta and 4 other hijackers. Serfati carried bank slips showing more than $100,000 deposited from December 2000 through the first quarter of 2001, and other bank slips showing withdrawals for about $80,000 during the same period. Among other art students, some had backgrounds in electronic surveillance or military intelligence or were associated with Israeli wiretapping and surveillance firms. Former CIA counterterrorism officer concluded that the Israelis likely had a huge spy operation in the U.S. and that they had succeeded in identifying a number of the hijackers. The German daily Die Zeit reported that Mossad agents in the U.S. were in all probability surveilling at least 4 of the 19 hijackers. Now this is what's really going on with Iran.
I said, are we still going to war with Iraq? And he said, oh, it's worse than that. He said, he reached over on his desk, he picked up a piece of paper. He said, I just got this down from upstairs, meaning the Secretary of Defense's office today. And he said, this is a memo that describes how we're going to take out 7 countries in 5 years, starting with Iraq and then Syria, Lebanon, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, and finishing off Iran.
And there you have it.